What's up, fellow Age Groupies? Welcome to another episode of the Age Groupies Podcast, part of the United WeCast Network. I'm Mike Ergo, and along with my co-host Lindsay Hiken, we're here to talk to you about all things related to endurance sports from an amateur athlete perspective. We talk about how to have fun along the way and make the sport a little less intimidating. You all can follow the show on Instagram at Age Groupies, join the Age Groupies page on Facebook, and look us up by name, Lindsay Hiken and Mike Ergo on Strava. If you have any questions, comments, or topic ideas, feel free to email us, agegroupies@gmail.com. If you guys like the show, please leave us a rating and review on iTunes or those other places people get podcasts. All right, guys, enjoy the episode. Let's get to it. Okay, I'm recording on my end. You're recording?
Me too. Yes.
Cool. Awesome. Lindsay, how you doing in this COVID-19 world?
Well, I've been really sick and I'm starting to feel better, which is good. But I was sick for a few weeks. My Kaiser doctor did like an assessment. A second Kaiser doctor did an assessment. They thought probably there's a good chance I had the virus, but they didn't test me because I'm not an at-risk patient because I'm, super healthy.
Exactly.
And it was pretty gnarly, fever, the whole thing, body aches. And then that went away and I thought, I'm getting better. And then all of a sudden I couldn't breathe at all. And I had some respiratory issues. So I'm currently on a couple different medications like steroid and stuff to keep the respiratory things at bay.
Oh, you definitely had it then, or have it.
Something's up. And, I'm going to blame this one on Josh because I started sheltering in place immediately when they told us to. And that first week, Josh was like, this is BS. I can't hang. He's just a,
antsy?
He's antsy. Yeah. He's a contrarian. He's a contrarian. So that first week, the second they were like,
I'm not doing this.
First of all, he's an introvert who in a homebody. But the second they were like, you got to be home, he was like, So he was driving down to Monterey to golf every day that first week. And I'm like, you brought me back this. And he's had a mild cold, of course. He's a carrier. But so I don't know if I had it or not, but I had all the symptoms. And I'm on week 3 now. I'm on steroids. And it's been interesting. I haven't had some of the issues people have had with shelter in place because I haven't felt good enough to be antsy or bored, I've just been laying there. So this is my first week back at work and everything. And, my fitness has gone to hell and that's okay. I'm pushed out Trans Rocky Run to 2021.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so I'm just going to be, chilling this year. How about yourself?
Well, let's see. I've been healthy so far. I have this weird feeling like I want to get it and get it over with.
Yeah.
But I've been finding new things for my kids to do in our house, in our backyard. So we've been collecting worms and ladybugs. We've been howling at the moon. We did that yesterday at 8 o'clock.
Awesome.
Went outside and howled like wolves. We've been doing American Ninja Warrior obstacle courses. So, yeah, there's a lot of stuff.
Oh my gosh.
I was supposed to have a race on Sunday. And, of course, that got canceled. It was the Rock and Roll Half Marathon. So I just decided to do my own and ran around in the city of Petaluma. Felt good. Even though it was pouring rain. Pouring rain. But it was exactly what I needed to wake up, feel alive. I really loved it. I loved it.
That's right up your alley.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Let's not just do a half. Let's make it,
rainy.
Yeah. Let's make it tough. Well, that's good. And I see you've been spinning. You do a lot of indoor workouts already, so you were probably kind of set up for this in some ways.
Yeah, the bike I was fine with. I don't have a treadmill or anything. I do all of my running outdoors, but yeah, so that's set up, and I'm getting a lot more sleep. More sleep and doing a lot more stretching lately. I just kind of I think I was worried I had it a couple weeks ago just because I was so tired.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my body would just let me know, hey, man, you're probably stressed out about all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I ended up just getting a lot more sleep in, cutting the training off almost completely for a week, and just sleeping and stretching, and it felt good.
You know, it's so funny because that's, I think I mentioned this maybe last time we talked. I'm not sure, but I had set a little goal for myself during this shelter in place to do a short yoga practice followed by meditation every day. And I've stuck to it with the exception of when I was really sick. I mean, when I had like the fever and was just like rolling around and writhing in my bed, I wasn't doing yoga and meditating, but but all the other days, I've continued to do that and like you said, lots and lots of sleep. And it's felt really good to connect with my body in that way, in a different way.
Rather than pushing through stuff, like honoring, hey, we're tired. Maybe let's take a rest.
Yeah, nap time. Like it's pretty, it's refreshing to have this permission to just be at home and chill, you know?
Yeah, takes the guilt out of it, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, I think that's the conclusion Josh finally came to. He was like, oh, I don't have to feel guilty about not doing stuff. I can just, you know, chill out here. And that's definitely helped him. And, but that said, I mean, in between like my fever, when it would kind of go down a little bit, you know, I would come to and just be kind of just chilling in bed. And, I ordered like, I got new cycling shoes. I got like
nice.
workout clothes. I have a couple new kits. I was all up on competitive cyclists because, you know, some of these retail places are having big sales because they're like, we're not doing any business. You know, no one's doing. And so I took advantage of that. And I've had all this like workout stuff showing up. And I'm like, I can't even really.
Can't even use it yet.
Not really, but I'm going to look great when we get back out there.
You can try it on, make sure it fits, right?
Oh, for sure. It's already been tried on. And the one thing is I with my shoes, normally, I used to just put my own cleats on my shoes. But this going through the knee stuff that I went through last year training for Ironman, I actually ended up having a full bike fit, and he adjusted my cleat on that same right knee that was giving me the most problems, because it turns out my foot turns out like slightly, like not even really, it's hard. You don't really see it that much when I'm just like standing, whatever. But when you measure it, my foot's actually turned out a little bit, and my cleat was pushing my foot in. And the guy who was doing the fitting was like, this could have been probably the inception of all of these problems. Like,
oh yeah,
because I'd had new shoes for about a year and a half, and I'd just been and I'd done like a 5-day ride through Red Rock Canyons, like 500 miles. You know, it was like with this little like pushing my knee off kilter a tiny bit.
Yep.
And when he changed it, like I was pedaling, and then he had me stop it. When he changed it, even just then, right then, like some of the pressure was relieved. So with my new shoes, I've put my cleat on, but I'm like, I can't get it, you know, I can't get it quite right. So when we open up again as a country, I'm going to go back and I think have him do it right. I've officially reached an age where like a millimeter could be the difference between like working out and being, you know, limping.
Oh yeah. Especially, I mean, how it's a millimeter right at the point of connection, but then it's exponentially a bigger gap the farther you go up towards your knee. So yeah, I can see that. Mm-hmm. I can see that for sure. Well, today, I was thinking we can talk a little bit, you know, apropos to the moment, about some of the things we do for recovery, some of the things that have worked for you, and some of the things you've been trying out, and some of the things I've been using.
Well, you got something in your hand. I mean, I know the listener can't see, but he's...
And I'm going to put a video that does my probably my top 10 recovery things, but this looks like some kind of torture device.
It does.
It's got a J hook into it, and I can hold it with one hand and massage behind my scapula and really get into those places you can't reach that you need like a back scratcher to get. And it gives me some leverage too. So yeah. Well, what are you, I guess I can start and go through some of my go-to things for recovery. I think the best and the cheapest is simply a yoga mat and yoga blocks. I mean, there's so much you can do with that. Some of the best stretches I can get are like a figure 4 stretch where I'm stretching my hips, my glutes, and then just doing some twists and looking the opposite way and really stretching out my lower back that way on a yoga mat, and using those blocks to support my knees, or to even put my sacrum to do some bridges or simple things like that. But I mean, it's super low tech, it's super convenient, and I know you are a big proponent of yoga too. You can get your yoga mat some good use. Oh yeah,
I don't know if you know, but I'm a certified yoga instructor.
I did not know that. I learn new things about you all the time.
I was obsessed with yoga before I was obsessed with triathlon, and I got certified mostly out of. I mean, I already owned a restaurant at the time, so I had a job, but I did it out of curiosity and wanting to deepen my own practice and potentially use yoga to help. I had just started getting into triathlon and was like, oh, these athletes are pretty tight. And I'm pretty tight for my new workout. So, I taught yoga for a few years in the Palo Alto area. And I did a yoga for athletes with my team for a year or so, like every Thursday. It was really fun. So I don't teach now, but I am thinking of doing a quick little series of videos for our listeners, and we could put them on our YouTube just to show. So I could show something like what you're talking about, just a simple thing with your blocks, just to stretch it out a little bit. It doesn't have to be, one thing I noticed when athletes do yoga a lot of the time, we want to do it competitively.
Oh yeah, like stretch as hard as you can right before your legs fucking snap. Yeah, no kidding.
I remember when I was teaching the Team Sheeper yoga class, I'd have to regularly say, like, just keep your eyes on your own mat, because people be looking at someone else like, well, they're deeper, and they're trying to like push it. I'm like, you're gonna break your hips doing that.
Exactly. I'm gonna downward dog that fool over there.
Totally. Like, wait, this is save the competition for Iron Man. But yeah, so that is my number one way to, for me, it's been this whole time, to treat injury, preventative, and also when I'm injured, to kind of come back to as a way of letting my body recover and strengthen in a low impact way.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm convinced that doing yoga once a week here, I'm lucky I get to do it through work.
Oh,
It's
awesome.
I'm convinced that's the reason I have been injury free since I started the sport, because just the stretching alone, but then also the being able to calm my body down, get into activate my parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest. Another simple low tech thing that I really like is a LaCrosse ball, and it's little.
Amen.
If you guys haven't seen them, they're slightly smaller than a baseball. They're all rubber. They bounce pretty well. You can throw them to your dog. But you can sit right on your piriformis, which for the uninitiated is that part of your butt that when you sit on it, you'll know. It's a point. It's a connection of a lot of muscles, and it's you can really loosen some stuff up by just sitting on it. And you can also I've also used it to, lean against it and get the outside of my pecs. I can rub up against a wall and get my shoulders, get my scapula, all the muscles back there. You kind of look like a bear rubbing up against a tree, scratching.
Bottom of the feet.
Bottom of the feet. Yeah. So it's another super low tech thing, and it's easy. I take it everywhere I go, just because if I have some time and I'm waiting, then it's a great use. And especially if I'm going on vacation and I can't pack. Like I was looking through my stuff this week, and I have a shit ton of recovery devices, and I'm looking around my office, and I can already see 7. This is just like out of the corner of my eye. The next thing I got is a TriggerPoint roller. It's like a foam roller, just a little harder. It's got some pads.
Is that the one that's got the little spiky kind of
I have that
nubbies
too.
all over it?
Yeah,
So
I think
that's
that one's called, I think, a rumble roller, and I have that.
Oh,
It looks
okay.
like a big gear sprocket, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
What's
one's
a
TriggerPoint. It's smooth. It's just simply padded on the outside. There's some contour to it, but it's a PVC pipe with some foam around it.
Oh.
So it gives you a little more support. But that's great for. I love rolling out my calves, my quads, glutes. Try to get the hips, and then what I really love to do with it is simply lay my neck across it and look back and forth, left and right, like I'm shaking my head, and that loosens up my neck so much.
And this is when you're laying on your back, like on a mat or something. Okay.
Yeah, laying on my yoga mat, and it's so simple to do, and it's so relaxing. But it really loosens up the neck, especially for, most of us. If you listen to this podcast, you probably have the tendency to bend over and look at your screen, look down.
Uh-huh.
Unless you're one of those real psychos who just carries it out in front and has good posture, which is no one.
Right.
So this helps loosen your neck back up, straighten it back up.
Which is nice.
Yeah. The other TriggerPoint piece of gear I have is what I'm holding right here is this little J hook that really digs in to my back. And again, you guys check out the video. It'll be up around the same time this podcast comes up.
Nice.
Another thing that I love by TriggerPoint, and I swear I'm not sponsored by them, I just have so much of their stuff, is it looks like a dough roller, like a rolling pin. And that's good for getting downward pressure. So that's great for quads, and it's great for calf muscles. But you can hold it with hold each side of it, and it has a part that'll just roll over whatever surface of your skin you're trying to do it on.
Oh,
You have any experience with those, Linz?
Not that one, but I have a wooden. It's sort of like it's a little bigger than a rolling pin, and it's sort of shaped. It's got knobs like this.
Oh,
and it was actually more of like a yoga tool, but I use it for my sports. It's wooden. It doesn't have like an axle that it turns around anything. You just roll it with your top of your hands. Basically like you're using a flat rolling pin on the quads. And because it's wooden, it's smooth, but it's got these lumps in the middle. There's a space that's kind of like between the two center like rings. There's a space basically would fit your spine. So you can put it on. You lay on it and you can just with your feet roll yourself up and down, and it rolls right on either side of your spine. It's really I love it because it's not as big. Like it's big enough to do my body kind of, but it's not like I can fit it in a luggage. You know what I mean? Because it's only maybe a few inches in diameter, and then it's not that long, so it fits.
Oh, that's
I bring
perfect.
it with me someplace, and it's just wooden, so I love those.
Yeah, another yoga tool that I think is so underrated is the strap. Use that to grab a hold of the bottom of my feet and do some awesome hamstring stretches. What I love using those for too is I don't know, in CrossFit, in my former CrossFit cult days, we used to call them shoulder dislocations, where you go back and forth and rotate over your head with a strap. And you can do the same thing with a wooden dowel, but it really opens up your shoulders, and especially for a lot of men, I know our shoulders tend to be more concave, and so that has helped me quite a bit. What I've been using, so those are all like relatively inexpensive things, low tech. Yeah. I got one thing that's probably in the mid-range price. I think it was about $80, $70 is the Rite, and that's PSO, like your psoas muscles.
Oh, I don't know anything about it.
And I'm going to pick it up right here using my little J hook to. Now I'm showing Lindsay on here. It looks like a U shape. Oh. And so you lay on it. You lay on it.
It almost looks like a child's booster seat.
Yeah, exactly. And your hip flexors go right on here as you're laying on it.
Oh,
so you can
wow.
lay on it face down. You can lay on it face up. You can lay on it sideways and get, different sides of your hips.
Okay.
But that is because it has that long extended point. It can really get into those muscles that you can't even get. Like I've had, body workers try to get into that hip socket, that little hip crease. And one, it's a weird area. So if you don't know your body worker, I know a lot of people are hesitant, because it's pretty close to your genitals. So it can feel a little awkward. But more than that,
and I've had them do it, but I've had them do that, but it's like, and it was helpful, but it would be nice to have something at home, because I only end up going like to a sports medicine institute or something when I'm finally at a point where my hip flexor, I'm like, oh, I'm limping. I need to go get I need to attend to this.
Oh yeah.
But if I had something at home like that would kind of get in there, I could do it almost in a preventative way.
Well, that's the cool thing about this is that you can use the Rite. You can lay on top of it and use your own body weight to create that pressure into it versus somebody having to put all their weight and really strain to use their hands to like dig in there. So, and then you can adjust the pressure by, simply like putting your legs, a little more weight on your legs on the ground or, on your elbows as you're laying down. Yeah. So it's cool. A good thing. It's and these things, guys, I'm going to put links in the show notes, so check those out.
Definitely.
The other thing, so these are I have 3 things that are a little more high tech, a little more pricey, but for me, they're definitely worth it. And this is something I've kind of collected over the last 5 years. And one is a TENS unit. So it's a little shocking device. It creates a little electrical. It doesn't shock you, but it creates a little electrical pulse in you, and it stimulates your nerves, stimulates your muscles to kind of react. I'm not sure what I'm trying to say here. Contract.
I know exactly
flex.
what you're talking about. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so it has a few different settings, and so TENS stands for transcutaneous electrical nerve stimulation, but I like just to call it the shocking thing. So you put it on there.
I have one. Yeah, I love it.
I think what it does, it overrides. Supposedly, it overrides the brain's pain signal by overloading that nerve. But I think what it really does is it contracts and expands the different muscles, opens and closes them if they're stiff, and kind of helps work out. I'm guessing lactic acid or whatever else. It unstiffens them. So,
what I've used mine for, so I have one that's European. It's like a friend of mine from Austria said, that the Austrian healthcare system is a combination of Western medicine and like Eastern medicine or and alternative medicine. And so they had, this is years, like 10 years ago, 9 years ago, I got this from her, but they give them these little things like that, these electrical for pain and for helping heal. And she got me one from Austria when she went home, and I've used it because I have these tendons on the inside of my ankle going down, from the inside of my ankle down towards my arch, that sometimes I get overuse injuries, and I end up sometimes in the boot or whatever from it. And the tendons are so hard to heal because they don't get really any blood flow.
Yes,
and this electrical shock thing seems to, I can put it on there and it sort of like stimulates some kind of flow around the tendon to support faster recovery.
I guess I should back up and it's not an electrical shock like sticking your hand in a light socket. It's you can feel the electrical current. Yeah, the current. Yeah. So it's, and what
although
I love
mine
about
can turn up pretty high. I mean, I can.
You can make it hurt.
It wouldn't. Yeah.
I've done it. I mean, there's different settings where it goes like on, off, on, off. And I've strained my calf muscle before because I put it on too powerful. So it's the one I have now. The setting is it starts out off basically, and you have to turn it up each notch to go harder, so you don't accidentally put it on and wreck your body and freak out.
Yeah, it won't do. Yeah, mine won't do that either. Yeah, it's not like getting tased or something.
Yes, exactly.
You're not tasing yourself.
The next thing I got on my list is those pneumatic guns, the like a Hypervolt or Theraguns. Oh my God. Yeah. When I was doing some strength work in month of November, December, my trainer was using that on me at the end of each session, and it felt great. I got close to falling asleep on the table. One, because he smoked me, but two, because it just felt like I know what my cat is feeling when I'm petting him and he's purring now, because that's exactly how I was feeling. Just.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
I picked one up in China when I was there racing, so I got one. I think for about half the price.
Yeah. I need one of those. I have a friend who has one, and every time I see her, I'm like, if I go to her house for book club or something, she always whips out the Theragun for me. I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. And that really gets in the hips well. I have a few different attachments. I use it in the hips, lower back, quads. Definitely the quads. It feels great on the quads. So that's worth it for me. And I think my favorite thing of all the high-tech stuff, though, is I got a set of Rapid Reboot dynamic compression boots. There's those in
boots. I'm so
inflatable boots. And what they do is they squeeze the hell out of your legs. Well, I got 3 different attachments. I got the legs attachment, I got the hips attachment, like hips and lower back, and then they just sent me the arms attachment. So shout out to Rapid Reboot for sending me those the arms attachment. But previously I bought the starter kit of just the legs, and then bought the hip. But it pumps air and inflates it around you like an inflatable cast, and it pushes from your extremities. Like when I put on my legs, it pushes blood through and lactic acid through the foot, calf, and works its way up all the way to closer to my hips and to where your lymph nodes are, and drains your legs out so you can get back to training. We're actually I'm going to get someone from Rapid Reboot on the show to explain a little bit more about it.
Yes, please.
Yeah, exactly. But I think for my money, it's the best thing I've invested in. And I'm not just saying that because they gave me the arm things for free, but it's something I can do while I'm watching TV, you know, with my wife, or I'm relaxing, or even when I'm like playing with my kids and reading them a book, you know, I can throw them on there, and it has saved my legs. Like when when my legs have been trashed after, especially after cycling and long runs. So I feel it on long runs. I feel it in the knees, and especially after this last time, man, I was hurting a little more than usual just because I hadn't trained as much, ran as much going into this self-supported half marathon. Those boots fixed me right up. Helped drain my legs out. Worked out pretty well. And just a tip for everyone who isn't able to afford those things. The next best thing you can do is when you get done with a long run or a long ride is to lay on the ground and put your feet up on the wall and just let it drain that way. And that'll work too.
Yeah, that's the yoga way. Legs up the wall.
Yep. Have you used the boots before? The compression boots? Oh,
yeah. I don't have them. I'm dying to get a pair. I do not have them. I have a couple of friends here on the peninsula who have them, and I've was able to use them a few times during Ironman training. And on one of the occasions, we did it was like a 12, 13 mile run. And then I had to go do a work thing where I was going to be standing on my feet all afternoon, like after running in the morning, a trail run. So it was a lot of up and down. And my friend was like, well, just shower at my house and then you can put the boots on while we have lunch and then you can go to your job. And I was like, okay. And I did it. And I didn't have like a trail half marathon and then standing for 4 hours was fine because I had the boots in between. It was amazing.
It's crazy how it works like that. Yeah. And I'm excited to have someone from Rapid Reboot explain the science behind it and how it works. But it's such a good, every time I look at people, like a race expo, it looks like you're walking through like an opium den or something. Everyone's got that face, like they're just like all narked out, just eyes rolling in the back of their head. Oh, because it feels so good. It's so nice.
So good. Oh my gosh. And I feel like, as I age anyway, just in general, like my work is sedentary. So I sit, at a desk all day, and just being able to, have a boot to move the blood around, I think would be helpful just for, aging, just to help that settling of blood. Yeah. So it's on my list of items to purchase at some point, because my experiences with them have been so good.
Yeah.
It feels so good.
Here's another low-tech tip for recovery, and it's something you can do really anywhere, and it's just walking. Like I always have, I think a lot of athletes have that the day after their race, and just an hour of walking, just working things out. I mean, all these things I think used in conjunction work the best. But if you have the desire, but you don't have the funds right now, put your legs up exactly after a workout. Put your legs up and then stretch them out, and then the next day, when that delayed onset muscle stiffness, soreness sets in, then you go walking. Then you go walk around and shake it out. So
move them. Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think that these are all good tips. Mike is going to do some short videos on our YouTube that will show you some of the tools that he's been talking about here, and what he's, and how to use them, and what he's been doing. I'm still on the mend, but in hopefully a week or so we'll feel better, and then I'll be able to make a couple short yoga videos I can do, for stretching different parts of the body, hips, hammies, things like that. And so I'll do those as well. And now's the time to develop some new habits. You've got, to
find a new stretch,
healthy
right?
habits. Yeah. New stretching, a new way of sort of approaching your physical fitness is to maybe get a good regimen down that you can do fairly quickly, that will support recovery, and that you will continue to do regularly, once we're all out and back on the roads.
I like that. And that's a good idea, because now we have the time. So when you're learning something new, it takes a while to figure out how to walk through the steps of doing it. But now is the time to do that. So when you're a little more in a pinch for time, you already know how to do the stretch, do the specific method. You don't have to walk yourself through it like you're assembling IKEA
where's
furniture,
my gear?
right?
What am I doing? Yeah, exactly. Because it won't happen,
Yeah, it's not going to happen. You're like, I'll do it next time.
Yeah, I agree. Should we talk a little bit? So really quickly before we get off, just because I know most athletes are having, events postponed, canceled, whatever. So what is your take? What is your approach to this?
My approach is so I've had 2 races postponed to some time indefinitely. A 3rd race, Escape from Alcatraz, hasn't been postponed yet. It's in June. It will be 100%. I'm already sure of that. And then I have Kona, I think, in October. So I was actually kind of relieved about not doing the Santa Rosa half, because my focus is more on Kona, and I was just got a slow start to training this year.
Yeah.
But I think my approach is to allow myself to feel sad if they do get canceled, and that bums me out. Not deny that, but then after I allow myself to feel that, is to just take inventory. Okay, what do I have control over? What do I not have control over? And then focus my resources to what I have control over. So for me, I have control over the things I can do with my family, the way I eat, how much I sleep, my ability to train and be, a helpful person in society. So all these things I can do, plus I'm finding new hobbies. The way I've dealt with this is I've developed I learned how to make my own, I've done it before, but ginger root beer.
Oh,
so
cool.
Non-alcoholic ginger beer. I'm making that. I am making my own carbonated water now. I got the equipment for that. And I'm making these little simple syrups to add flavor to them, like the honey-based ones. I got a lemon ginger and I have a tomato, gross. No, I have a strawberry basil lime,
yum.
and they're both good. And I just made an apple maple one this morning, so we're going to see how that turns out. But that's been fun. I've been able to do new things, and so it's like I just look at, okay, this door is closed for now. Where do I go next?
Right.
Yeah, what about you?
Yeah. Same. I'm kind of like, okay, as of now, Trans Rockies Run is actually still taking place, but I want to do it with my sister, and she is a single mom and a nurse in Ohio, and she's been working her butt off. And
yeah, that's not happening, right?
No, and she emailed me and was like, I don't know that I'm going to have the bandwidth to get back on training like after this. It's just so crazy. And I've been sick and would have to restart training anyway, and which I'm going to do no matter what for something. But, for me, it was like, it just seemed like we were going to be really pushing it to make it happen if we were going to make it happen this year.
Mm-hmm.
And the point of it
like
was to go have
right?
fun. Yeah, it's like forcing it. And it was sort of like, I don't really, why? That's not, so
Yeah.
I am having a milestone birthday. So, and I'll send you the invite, Mike, but I'm doing a big ass ride instead locally. It's called the Epic Ride, made up by Tim Sheeper. And it's going to be we're going to do it on my actual birthday and in August. And it's 107 miles, and it's about a little over 10,000 feet of climbing.
Oh, wow. That is a big-ass ride.
Through, peninsula, through the Santa Cruz Mountains. You have to come down. It'll be fun.
I checked out the map. I saw you post that. Yeah.
Yeah.
If I can be there, if I can be there, I'm there, because that sounds awesome.
Yeah. It's a random day. It's the middle of the week, but it'll actually be better for us because the road traffic is so much less during the week, obviously.
Yeah.
But, so... I'm like, okay, I'm going to do that. I love that ride. I haven't done it in a long time. My knees are feeling better. I want to try, and I just thought that's going to be, fun. And the point is, I just wanted to spend my birthday outside doing what I love to do. Hopefully we will be sheltering in place still in August. If we are, we'll have to recap and see where I am mentally. But right now I'm like, whatever happens. Events that I had planned, a series of races that I had planned to do. I know at least 2 of them are done and not going to happen at all. And one's been postponed, but whatever. It'll all come back and we'll have it again. And there's, stuff later in the year. And it's just sort of like, I'm in acceptance. I am.
Yeah. It's an interesting middle road to be in, because there's the crowd that says, why is this happening? This sucks. And okay, yeah, but then there's also the crowd that tries to shame people who are upset that their races got canceled, and I don't think either one is a good place to be. Because I'm sad. Yeah. I'm sad about a couple of these races being canceled, because
of course
I love to do this, such a big part of my life, and because of the purpose connected to it. So yeah, I'm okay with the fact that makes me sad. So yeah. And then I move on. Yeah. And then I figure out how to move on.
Yeah. I think coming to a point of acceptance is a good place to be, but I don't think that shaming anybody for feeling upset about their race is a good thing to do either. But I also, it's 2 parts. Like, we put a lot of money, effort, time, focus, energy into our sport.
Yeah.
That's so to have it taken away in some ways is like, a lot of us, that's a big part of our identity is, that we do these things. Yeah. And it's not just that the race isn't happening. It's like, we're not even doing our normal things that on a daily basis keep us sane. So I get that. But on the other hand, it is a hobby. I'm grateful I'm not on a ventilator right now, so that's
exactly.
That's the other piece.
Yeah, my heart goes out to everyone who's sick, and it also goes out to the people who maybe this is like their first Ironman they're training up for, or first like some kind of milestone. Like this is something they've had their sights on, and they've been training for something that is past the distance or the the time that they thought they could do before. So, you know what,
Right.
guys? Just regroup, retool. We're going to get back at it.
All right. I think we did it.
I think so. Talk to you next week, guys.
All right. See ya.
All right, everyone. Take care.
Alrighty, that concludes today's episode of the Age Groupies Podcast with me, Lindsay Hiken, and my co-host, Mike Ergo. We really hope you enjoyed it. You can follow the show on Instagram at Age Groupies, join our Age Groupies page on Facebook, and look us up by name, Lindsay Hiken and Mike Ergo on Strava. If you have questions, comments, or topic ideas, feel free to email us at agegroupies@gmail.com. If you enjoy the show, please leave a rating and review on iTunes or wherever you get your podcasts, as this really helps us get more exposure while we try to grow this little venture. And of course, if you have friends you think might like the show, please be sure to share it with them. But for now, thanks for listening, and we will talk to you next week.